when a massive polar bear suddenly appeared before a group of armed poachers holding a bound wildlife ranger. No one could predict how this encounter would end. The wild beast, known for its ferocity and unpredictability, slowly approached the humans, and its behavior seemed strange even to experienced hunters. What happened next shocked everyone. On that freezing morning, with the thermometer showing record low temperatures and an icy wind whipping up snow devils, John was conducting his usual patrol of the reserve. A piercing cry cutting through the Arctic silence caught his attention. Following the sound through the snow veil, the ranger discovered a real tragedy. An exhausted polar bear cub trapped in a skillfully camouflaged pit, its fur beginning to ice over from the falling snow. Examining the scene, John noticed the pit walls were deliberately made vertical and smooth, their edges purposely doused with water to create a treacherously slippery surface. Drops of blood dotted the ice. The cub had injured itself in desperate attempts to escape. But that wasn't all. Nearby, in a cruel steel net, languished the mother bear, her paw severely damaged by the metal cables of a professionally set trap. Time worked against the ranger. Temperatures continued to drop, and the cub's condition grew increasingly critical. Acting quickly and methodically, John retrieved his climbing equipment and began the rescue operation. Despite his numbing hands, he assembled a lifting system, and after several attempts, managed to loop a harness around the cub's body. Every movement required extreme caution. Any mistake could cost the exhausted cub its life. At that moment, the distant rumble of snowmobiles was heard. The poachers were returning to check their traps. Working even faster, John completed lifting the cub and, finding no serious injuries besides hypothermia and minor cuts, wrapped it in a special thermal blanket. Surprisingly, the exhausted cub didn't resist, as if understanding the human was trying to help. After hiding the cub in a safe place, the ranger returned to the mother bear. The chain lock proved challenging. The poachers had used a complex mechanism with triple tamper protection. Each wrong manipulation only increased pressure on the animal's injured paw. But the bear seemed to sense the human's good intentions. She quieted down, watching his actions intently with her intelligent dark eyes. The sound of approaching snowmobiles grew clearer when 3 armed poachers emerged from the snow curtain. Their leader, a tall man with a gray beard, instantly noticed the empty trap, and his face contorted with rage. John, concealed behind the bear's massive body, continued working on the lock, and his fingers seemed to find the right mechanism on their own. Just as one of the poachers spotted movement and raised his rifle, a sudden gust of wind lifted a snow screen, momentarily blinding the criminals. That second was enough. The lock finally yielded. The freed mother bear rose to her impressive full height, like a suddenly emerged snow mountain. The poachers froze in surprise, and John used the moment to disappear into the blizzard. Behind him rang out a mighty roar and frightened cries of scattering people. Watching from afar, the ranger saw how the bear, after driving away the poachers, quickly found her cub and carried it to a safe place for winter denning. The next 2 months passed in constant tension for John. He noticed strange snowmobile tracks in remote areas of the reserve. The poachers were clearly studying his patrol routes, preparing revenge for the thwarted hunt. One particularly cold day, discovering fresh signs of their presence, the ranger began photographing evidence, unaware he was already in their sights. 4 armed men, led by the same gray-bearded leader, surrounded him, acting quickly and professionally. After brutally beating and binding the ranger, they led him deep into uninhabited territory where patrols rarely ventured. The situation seemed hopeless. In such weather, help could come from nowhere. But suddenly the poachers froze, hearing a soul-chilling growl through the howling blizzard. A huge white figure appeared as if from nowhere, the same mother bear John had saved 2 months ago. He immediately recognized her by the scar on her paw. Taking position between the poachers and the bound ranger, she radiated such menace that even armed men began slowly retreating. Her behavior was unusual. She neither attacked nor allowed them to approach John. When one of the criminals panicked and reached for his weapon, the bear took a threatening step forward, demonstrating her power. Fear overcame the thirst for revenge, and the poachers fled, dropping equipment in the snow. When the last sounds of their footsteps dissolved in the blizzard, the bear turned to John. Her approach caused involuntary trepidation. A 2-meter predator weighing over half a ton could end a human life with one motion. However, her movements were surprisingly careful. After sniffing the ropes on John's hands, she, to his amazement, began carefully gnawing through the bindings, acting with incredible precision. After freeing the human, the bear stepped back several paces but didn't leave, as if waiting for him to recover. When John stood up, flexing his numb limbs, and quietly thanked his savior, she tilted her head sideways as if understanding the meaning of the word. In this moment, an incredible connection formed between human and wild beast, two beings who had saved each other, standing amid the Arctic wasteland bound by ties of mutual gratitude. This amazing story of mutual rescue and gratitude proves that even in the harshest corners of the planet, where ancient survival instincts rule, an extraordinary connection between human and wild animal is possible. It reminds us that nature can teach lessons of kindness and gratitude, making us rethink our relationship with its inhabitants and consider how deep and unexplored the feelings of those we're used to seeing as mere predators might be.